President Trump lighting up the world stage as impeachment enters a new phase. The House Intelligence Committee expected to vote soon on Chairman Adam Schiff's newly released report. The GOP releasing their own pre-buttal report. It says there's no evidence of an impeachable offense and warns that the Democrats are setting a dangerous precedent. Trump sounding off on all of this while he attends the NATO summit in London.
I think it's very unpatriotic of the Democrats to put on a performance where they do that. I do. I think it's a bad thing for our country. Impeachment wasn't supposed to be used that way. I think it's a disgrace. I think the Democrats should be ashamed of themselves. The Republicans have never been stronger, never been more unified. The Democrats have gone crazy.
The president saving more harsh words for Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Chairman Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff is a deranged human being. I think he grew up with a complex for lots of reasons that are obvious. I think he's a very sick man. And he lies. Adam Schiff made up my conversation with the president of Ukraine. Nancy Pelosi knew he was lying, and she went on a show, Stephanopoulos, and she said he told the truth. So she was lying too. These people are deranged.
Greg, the president over there in the UK trying to do some business, but he's got to deal with politics back home.
Well, the question is this unpatriotic? So I was thinking about that for quite a while, Dana, because I like to think.
You have a lot of time to do that.
All right. Is it unpatriotic to undo an election in a process that started the day after the election? Yeah, I'd say that's unpatriotic. Trying to cancel the votes of half the country to soothe your emotional damage because daddy hurt you, that's unpatriotic. It says a lot about your emotional state. Proceeding with this circus knowing that there is a split in the country, that half the country's against it, yeah, that's unpatriotic because could it create widespread discontent and perhaps economic collapse? Yeah, I would say that's unpatriotic. So you're pursuing all of this rather than participate in an election that you started this process 3 years ago, and it's all because you feel bad inside. You're putting your feelings before the country. That's unpatriotic.
Adam Schiff, though, Juan says in his report that the president he was talking about bribery, and then in particular, they spent a lot of time in the report talking about the president obstructing the process.
Indeed. And it's interesting, picking up on what Greg was talking about, from the Democrats' perspective, they're more interested in 2020 than they are in 2016, because what they say is that this president was soliciting foreign nations interfering in the upcoming election. So to me, it's like you have two reports out today, Dana, one from the Republicans, one from the Democrats. And it's like alternate realities. It's like listening to me and Greg on this show.
It's real.
But it's real. and you have the GOP saying, hey, there's not enough evidence here for impeachment. Where is the hard evidence? Where are the direct testimony from anybody about a quid pro quo, bribery, whatever? And then you have the Democrats come out and they say this unbelievable, unprecedented obstruction of justice and obstruction of an impeachment process, telling people not to come testify before an equal branch of government, the Congress, keeping documents away from Congress, and we have a call log. And that was the one thing that really struck me. The Republicans are really all about the political argument. The Democrats offer some factual basis saying, here are call logs that demonstrate how Devin Nunes, who's the lead Republican on House Intel, was involved with Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, with the president, with Lev Parnas, this guy who's been indicted for financial campaign abuse.
Yeah, they have the call logs, but they don't have what they said.
Yeah, but it sure looks bad.
I think it's interesting that Adam Schiff, the chairman, was looking at phone calls made by the ranking member who he's supposed to be working with on this committee to come to some kind of agreement about how to move forward. So it's obvious from
There's no love lost
that, they certainly won't be getting along in the future. But it is interesting how Adam Schiff claims that he has all of this information to move forward with the process. It's urgent that they get it to the Judiciary Committee, and they will continue to investigate even after it's handed over, while also admitting that they don't have all of the information, that they haven't interviewed key people that were named in this testimony but who haven't spoken to him. And it's very clear that Schiff doesn't have the confidence to go through the court system to try and find out if he has the authority to haul people like Secretary Pompeo and Ambassador Bolton before Congress to testify about these
going to court. Jesse, I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on this.
Well, I mean, we're talking about impeaching the president. Juan's talking about call logs. Think about that. We were promised high crimes and misdemeanors, and Juan is talking about a call log. Come on, Juan. You went home to Thanksgiving. No one's talking about Ukraine. My liberal mother's not talking about Ukraine. The whole thing backfired. If you look at every single swing state, impeachment's now underwater. This unified Republicans more than it unified Democrats. Democrats are broke. The DNC has no money. Republicans are raising money like, I'm not going to say it. They're raising a lot of money. And now they're trying to play all these tricks like they did with Kavanaugh. All of a sudden, Ambassador Sondland gets hit with not one, not two, but three sexual harassment allegations in the middle of all this. And you have Trump over there with Melania looking very striking, meeting with world leaders, fresh off killing Baghdadi, and unifying NATO against the Russians. And then you have Adam Schiff passing this scam to little Jerry Nadler, who's supposed to carry it across the finish line. I just don't see how this thing is going to stick. And even swing state Democrats know it because they're whispering about ways to get out of having to vote for this now.
But now, Greg, the Democrats are kind of in this box, right? If they don't go forward, their base is going to be furious. But if they do go forward, they could pay the price at the ballot box in the swing states.
I think we predicted this, didn't we?
Yes,
we saw
we
this
did.
coming. I, for one, hope they continue with this because, you know, it's something to talk about on the 5 during the slow days. But I do feel that I refuse to be led by the nose by Schiff with these fake little, like, inquiries, reports, and whatnot. It's all, to your point, it's all much ado about nothing. Something I think I coined.
Did you come up,
I came up with that. But one thing I want to say about watching Trump today in these meetings, his mantra is they owe us money, right? So everything he does is on behalf. He's like, he's our agent. He's America's agent in a meeting, and he's such a jerk. But he's our jerk. Did you see how he dealt with the Canadian
Trudeau?
He treated him as though he was the manager of a golf course owned by Trump. Can you tell us what did we work out here? What is it you owe us? And he made and what's his name again?
Trudeau.
Trudeau. It's like going like, oh, let me go through this. I think we got to 70%, and he's like basically saying, yes, sir, yes. It was like Celebrity Apprentice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was interesting to see that everything he does is on behalf of America. He's that uncomfortable person who goes up to somebody and says, you owe us money.
Now, the other side of this was to watch him deal with the French prime minister, where you saw, you know, it was, to me, it was like he was lecturing Trump. I thought Trump in that exchange look like, you think that this is about terrorism? No, I think it's about not fair because you didn't pay me the money. Actually, you guys are paying me, but we're getting other people, and we've done so much better, and NATO was going to fold, and now it's like, and he's like,
No,
yeah,
but
what is NATO for? Is it for terrorists, or is it for Russians? And the president could not agree.
Well, but I do think that perhaps Macron had a little, I don't know if he planned it or not, but the president has been quite critical of NATO. Then Macron was critical of NATO, called it brain dead, and the president said, how dare you say that? NATO's amazing.
Right.
So now they have the president saying NATO's amazing, so maybe everybody wins.